Next we have Isabel, Verhave, presenting Camp, a place where kids can grow.
I was driving in the car at 9 years old, and I had never been alone from my parents for a long period of time. In a couple of hours, I would be in an unknown place where I would stay for nearly a month. I felt jittery, but excited at the same time, which I'm sure you all have experienced before. When I stepped out of the car, I took some photos, hugged my parents, and left their arms, ready to start my summer at Kenwood Camp. As I was led to my cabin, I saw kids running around, hugging each other and laughing. But what if I couldn't make friends as they had? When I arrived at my bunk, I saw a group of girls who were sitting on the cabin porch making bracelets. And, to my surprise, they immediately welcomed me. The very next day, I had already made a best friend who I felt as if I had known forever. And that might sound crazy to you, but this truly illustrates the power of camp to me. I have gained countless life skills from camp, some as small as folding my own clothes. But camp provides more than just that. It allows for the growth for all the parts of a child. It gives children social connections, a safe space, an ability to take risks, and more. Connecting with the other campers is a key factor of the camp experience. In some ways, it can feel like a social experiment, getting diverse individuals playing and living together for weeks on end. In time, those individuals change and evolve together. There's actually research behind this. It's called the stages of group development. Bruce Tuckman, an American psychologist, is credited with coming up with these 5 stages. These stages can be seen in all types of group activities and show the process of how a group connects. This idea can also be applied to camp. When you first walk into the bunk, you start to form connections. But as you spend a few more days with your bunkmates, you start the process of storming, which is when you start to disagree. The next step is norming, where the group starts to finally connect. And this leads me to my last 2 steps, which are performing and adjourning, where the group reaches its peak and then says goodbye. You might be thinking, how does this relate to camp? It does though, because at camp, you are learning how to collaborate and work as a team, which is hard to recreate anywhere else at this age. Camp is based around teamwork and connection, and in some schools, that might not be the main focus. The interactions you experience when at camp will also help you in the future. It is important for children to develop certain life skills without the intervention of their parents. For example, being able to resolve issues or fights, which are what you deal with daily when you are at camp. You learn to meet new people, accept differences, and end the summer with a group of close friends. There isn't going to be a time in your life when you meet someone who is exactly the same as you, or someone you fully agree with. So camp can help you or your kids build on social skills that will be helpful in the real world, like participating in group projects, talking to new people, and being more adaptable to different environments. Now, I want you to imagine you at a place where you could be yourself, do your favorite activities, and be with your friends. Camp especially helps children to find out who they are and to be their most authentic version of themselves. At camp, I'm friends with people I never would be friends with at school. And I tried things I never would do at home, like tennis, which I normally wouldn't consider doing. If any of you have ever been through a rough time in your life, you know that when you are finally able to find your happy place, whether it is physical or mental, you feel pure joy. What if we could give everyone their happy place? The key to that is, you guessed it, camp. Even 70% of parents agree that summer camp gives their children confidence, and 92% of campers say that they feel better about themselves after camp. This information may be shocking to you, because it sounds insane that just a few summers at camp could change how you view yourself. If you've ever been to camp though, hearing these facts makes sense, because you know the very real effect of it. Knowing that I have a place to go every summer where I can just be me is the best feeling in the world. In a safe space, you should also be comfortable enough to take risks. Since camp is judgment-free, it helps kids as it gives them the power to take risks and overcome fears. I want to start off by telling you a story one of my teachers told me. My teacher works at a camp over the summer, and he told me about one of his campers who has autism. The boy's parents were terrified when it came to him getting in the water. He at first started with baby steps, but soon enough, he was swimming in the lake. The boy took the risk of getting in the lake and ended up loving it. The greatest risk is not taking one. And I too have taken that statement into account, and I've been able to work with my fears at camp. I developed a fear of bugs during elementary school, and when I first went to camp, I freaked out every time I saw a bug in the cabin. I probably annoyed nobody. One time, I even sprayed bug spray inside the whole bunk. Although I'm still nervous when around insects, camp exposed me to my fear, and in a way, made me comfortable with it. I want to take a quick detour here and tell you about one of my most memorable experiences in nature. I don't know the specific time, but there was a point where I realized I was fully surrounded by the woods, and the joy I felt was incredible. It was a cold day in Lake Placid, and I was with one of my hockey teammates, and we decided to do a hike before we left our tournament. Near the top, there was a break in the trees, and we could see all the mountains around us. I literally gasped. I was so amazed. All I could do was stare out into the distance. And you can get that feeling every day at camp, even if your camp isn't in nature exactly. While most traditional camps are located in natural environments, there are still camps that give children a different environment from their home, even if they aren't in nature. Camp gets kids outside, but it also gets them away from technology. Now, this might make you a bit uncomfortable, but how many hours do you spend on your phone each day? The average person spends around 4 to 5 hours a day on their phone. Let's do some math now. If you go to camp for 4 weeks like I did, you would get around 126 hours back that you would have lost to your phone. Being away from your phone for a month is pretty much the worst thing that could happen to a teenager. But the benefits of less screen time are clear, since a study found that kids with less screen time have better sleep. And if they spend more time outdoors, they have their memory improved by 28%. And I'm sure that's what helped me memorize this speech. Camp gives children freedom from their devices and a chance to explore areas that aren't similar to where they live normally. Each summer, the final few days of camp are filled with energy and spirit. The last day, though, is when it becomes real. You pack your bags and sit with your friends, and the cleaning process is long as you wait for your parents to arrive. And you are unsure whether you should be happy to see them or sad to go. When you finally see your parents, they overload you with questions. What were your favorite activities? Who are your friends? All you do is smile, because camp is unexplainable. It needs to be experienced for them to understand. As you drive away from your home away from home, you are already planning for next summer. I want you to decide to send your kid to camp, because it will benefit them. Whether or not you are doing that, instead you can give the gift of camp to another child. Throughout the year, I've been working with the organization Scope that sends kids from low-income families to camp. I heard about Scope my first summer at Kentwood, and during the school year, I crafted my own stationery to raise money for the organization. As the listeners of this talk, I want you to know that you have the power to make a difference for children. And even if camp is not in the picture for you or your children, getting outdoors, working to overcome fears, and stepping outside of your comfort zone are still things you can apply to your own life. Camp taught me about the importance of taking a step back from my phone and having a safe place to go to. It is an experience that provides growth in all the areas of a child. It gives them best friends, new skills, and memories that will last forever. Thank you.